All right. Okay. I'm not used to sitting down in my videos. I'm usually standing up, but it's a little different. Gotta get used to that. Okay. It's kind of, yeah, man. It's crazy. It's nuts. I can't get over this. Wow. My AMA made it to the #1 spot at the Reddit AMA. Wow, I wasn't expecting so many questions, so I'm gonna probably have to break this up. So this is part 1. Okay, awesome. Let's get started. Siri, please set a timer for 30 minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes and counting.
Thank you. All right. How did you start being Jesus? Now that's a tough question to answer just with one answer. Well, how did I start? I technically started on Fiverr first, I think, and then I started the YouTube channel. Or did I start the YouTube channel first? I started the YouTube channel in May. I think I started them at the same time. I did. I started them at the same time. What are some of the craziest Fiverr requests you have ever had? And did you go through with them? There was a time when I was doing a lot of K-pop videos for K-pop stands on Twitter and Instagram. And it got a little hectic there for a little while, for a few weeks. But I did get pretty good at pronouncing the names of all the members of all the different K-pop groups, like all the, South Korean names. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I have to turn down a lot of requests. I probably turn down at least one a day because it's racist or homophobic or something like that, and I don't do those videos. Yeah, for the most part, when I'm saying a Fiverr, when I'm doing a Fiverr video, I'm just delivering somebody else's message. I'm just kind of the message carrier, I'm kind of like the Uber driver of the message. And I really don't pay too much attention to the message unless that message is racist or homophobic or something like that. Then I kick that message out of my Uber. I'm like, get the hell out of here. And I don't do those. How you doing? Asks H.R. Johns. I'm doing pretty glorious. Thanks. How are you? I'm doing all right, actually. I'm doing better. I'll be honest. It got really rough there for a little while. But thanks to you guys, thanks to the support of my YouTube family, I'm feeling so much more optimistic and a whole lot better. So, thank you. This is a really great question. Out of all the charities you could have chosen to support, was there any specific reason you chose to support the Doggo charity? Any pets? Yes, very good question. I do have a pet. My best friend, his name is Judas, and he is an Australian Shepherd, a tricolor Aussie. And we've been best friends for 5 years now. And we do everything together. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but it's true. We literally go everywhere together and do everything together. I don't know what I'd do without him. So with that said, I knew that when I started YouTube that I didn't want to be one of those YouTubers that's like always like frustrated with adpocalypse or getting demonetized and stuff like that. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to be motivated by money in any way, really. I just thought, this would be a really good way to help do some good. And I knew I wanted to. I knew it was going to be animals of some sort. I'm a huge animal lover. And so I kind of went on a search for charities, and it wasn't easy. It took a long time. I was searching high and low, and trying to find, some. I started locally, trying to find something local, and I really just couldn't find anybody that I felt was good enough. Like, that doesn't sound right. No, but I wanted to find a charity that was like mom and pop. Like they needed the money. Like they could really use it. And all the charities around here were like getting funded by big donors and huge, corporations and stuff like that. And so, and we have, the aquarium and everything. So it was hard. It's hard to find something locally. But I finally found the perfect charity, Aussie Rescue SoCal. They're located all the way out in Paris, California, which I've yet to go out there and visit. But Carol, I'll go out there someday, I promise. And we're going to make a video, I know it. But I spent hours kind of interviewing her on the phone and kind of trying to really get a feel for her operation I gave it. I slept on it for a few days, and I was really, I knew it. I mean, I knew after talking to her for the first time, I was like, this is the one. I think this is the one. Yeah, support ARSC, Aussie Rescue SoCal. Anyways, what they do, what Carol does, is amazing. She goes around and she services a huge geographical area, all of Southern California, and including Los Angeles County, and comes down here. And she goes to all the different shelters and picks up the dogs, the Aussies that are going to be euthanized because the shelters don't have the resources to care for them because they either need some expensive medications or special care or diet or something that they're just not equipped for. So Carol, the guardian angel she is, goes around all Southern California and scoops them up and takes them to her sanctuary and rehabilitates them and finds them homes. And I love her for that. Not all saviors wear tunics. Maui time. Oops, I just gave you gold while I was trying to click on your name. Congratulations. Would you mind specifying the religious cult you were raised in and your current beliefs? Yes, I will. Although I think it's important to know, a lot of people are saying this. I said I was raised in a highly controlled religious organization that some people call a cult. I lately have, it's the Mormon Church, by the way. And lately I call it the corporation, is the nickname that I give it. As do a lot of the, shout out to my fellow Exmos in the ex-Mormon Reddit. I was born and raised in the Mormon Church, in a very, very religious family. I mean, my family took it really, really serious. All the different, superstitions and everything. They very believe. And to this day, my parents still believe all those things, and that's what they do. So, are you actually religious yourself, or is your channel just entertainment purposes? Good question. I'm not religious. No, not in like in the sense that I follow any sort of like dogma or anything like that. No, I'm not really spiritual or anything like that either. But I am religious in the sense that it's kind of like my job. But I'm. A lot of people probably want to know, like, what do I believe in? Do I believe in God? Am I Christian or what? I would say that I am agnostic, or atheist. I mean, I would say I'm atheist, but then, people will argue, well, do you know for sure? And well, no, I don't. So, but I'm atheist in the sense that I don't subscribe to any of the gods that are currently being worshipped right now, or were worshipped in the past or anything like that. Now, I'm what they would call I'm just a I'm a skeptic now, I guess. So, all right, I love this one. Shrek 1 or 2? Definitely 1. Definitely. Although I also really love Shrek retold on YouTube. That's one of my favorite YouTube videos. It's so good. What was your main job before YouTube and Fiverr? I did a lot of different things. Being Mormon, I was really good at sales, so I did that for quite a bit. But I've actually been self-employed for about the last 12 years, actually, doing various things. I was DJing for a while, video production, videography, and stuff like that for quite a few years, and now I've been doing this for 3 years. What music do you listen to? I listen to a lot of music. I know it sounds cliche when you say, well, I listen to everything, but I kind of really do listen to everything. All different genres of music. I'm all over the board. Yes, even country. Yes, hip hop. Yes, jazz. Yes, classical music. Pretty much everything. But what am I listening to the most, or what am I listening to currently? I've been listening to a lot of Post Malone, Greta Van Fleet, Bon Iver, Childish Gambino, stuff like that. That's what I'm into currently. Is your wife's name actually Karen? It would be ex-wife, and no, it's not. That's just like a meme. So, not today, Karen. This is a very good question. Kyra240 asks, what made you decide to make your online persona Jesus? Well, let me clarify. Not just my online persona. I would say, I mean, I obviously I would consider myself a satire comedian, and I do play a character, but I'm not doing anything that's too much different than how I guess I would normally be in real life. I believe that like my persona is my persona. But why did I choose Jesus? That's a very good question. And I've actually given that some thought lately, and I think the best answer that I can come up with, well, there's a few reasons, but I think the main reason is that it's my dad. It has to do with my dad. So I was born and raised in a very strict Mormon household, 8 kids in my family, and my dad was bishop when I was growing up, which is like, he's in charge of the entire congregation. If you're not familiar with Mormonism, and then for over a decade he was in the stake presidency, which means he's like a kind of a regional leader over several different congregations. And so what that meant was, between that job, which didn't pay you any money, when you're there's like no paid positions in the Mormon Church except for the prophet and the apostles, and those people get paid. But if you're just like my dad, you don't get paid, so you still have to support your 8 kids. So he was working, his own job, supporting himself, and our family, and a wife who was just very materialistic and not very good with money, and it was just kind of like this bad combination. And so that resulted in me like not really getting not ever spending any time with my dad. My memories of my dad growing up are basically waiting either inside the church house or outside the church house for hours, just waiting for him to come out of his office, out of the church building, when he's done, as he was there every day. And and then when he wasn't there, he was working, and so there was no, time for me. And so what time I did have my dad's spare time, like the time I spent with my dad was basically running errands with him. Would be going and sitting in his car and riding around with him. I just always remember how my dad looked up to Jesus, and I just thought, sitting out there in the car, waiting for my dad to come out, that like, man, my dad just really loves Jesus a lot. And I just remember that really sticking with me. And as I got older, I guess I thought, well, the more I be like Jesus, the better. Maybe my dad will, I don't know. I just, that definitely played into it. And then I think what kind of like hammered it home for me later, after I left Mormonism and I found out it wasn't true and everything, that I actually went into Christianity, got baptized as a born again, and started following another church. But after like several months of this other church, it wasn't long before I started kind of hearing some of the same patterns and finding some of the same problems in their dogma. And it was like the nail in the coffin was when anytime trans or any LGBT topics would come up, I would just get a horrible taste in my mouth, and I just didn't. I felt this isn't right. Jesus would not be speaking this way about the LGBT community. I'm out. I'm out of here. This is not right. I'm getting out of this Uber. And I left. I stopped going to that church. I stopped going, and I pretty much kind of stopped going to all churches. And it was really YouTube that kind of became my church. I started watching YouTube, and that's where I found my community and started finding my, that was it. I mean, that's what I found out church was. Church was community. Church was a community for people of like-minded people to kind of come together and feel good and, and be uplifted. And I thought, I could do that. I could do that. I can do that for everybody. I can do that online. I can do that on YouTube. And I think it was Joe Rogan that really kind of hit it home for me. I was listening to a podcast of his where he was talking about morality, and he's like, just be your own hero. That's all you need to do in life, to be a good person. Just be your own, I think he said, be your own John Wayne, And I thought, well, I don't really like John Wayne, but I love Jesus. I'm an idea. And boom, that was it. I just kind of started doing it. I went and registered the channel that right then and there and did it. So thanks. I guess it might, Joe Rogan might be your fault. Okay. So anyways, that's the short of it, I guess. There's more of it, obviously. I mean, I obviously do it too because I love YouTube. I watched so much YouTube. I still watch so much YouTube to this day, that I thought, it was fitting. It all fit together. Here's a fantastic question. I love this one. How has leaving Mormonism changed you as a person? A lot. I would say that the biggest thing that changed, besides my worldview, obviously, my worldview completely changed. The way I voted completely switched opposite. Everything kind of flipped very quickly. I realized, whoa, what was I leaving Mormonism felt like that scene from the Truman Show where Truman is hits the wall with the boat and he's walks up the stairs, or another way I've explained it to people is that scene in The Wizard of Oz where Dorothy goes through the door and it's all color on the other side. I was it was like a whole new world once I was able to accept that the Mormon Church wasn't true. A whole new world opened up to me. And I think the biggest thing that just was the biggest change was curiosity. I became extremely curious about the world around me. I mean, because for decades I had been indoctrinated to kind of like not trust, or kind of believe that like there's some things about science that aren't true, or like, they've, science has some things wrong or whatever. And that's what you have to do to kind of maintain a certain worldview that your entire keystone of your religion depends on certain things being a certain way. And once that goes away, it's like, whew, man. And so I got extremely curious, and that's where YouTube really came in, because I just started devouring videos, just watching so much videos. I one of the first YouTubers I discovered was, well, there's a few, but Pothole R56, Science Saved My Soul was one of the best videos I ever saw. Thunderfoot was another notable mention there. Reed Gower, the SAGAN Series is perhaps the best YouTube channel ever. I mean, this, if you're having doubts about religion, please go check out the SAGAN series on YouTube. It's incredible. Just, even if you aren't, go watch it. It's amazing. I mean, there was just so much good content on YouTube that it just, here I am. I became a YouTuber. Yeah, I quickly grabbed on to the scientific method as kind of the sure fire way to cut through bullshit, and because superstition's a weird thing, there's and our human brain is a weird thing. Is your legal name Jesus Christ? Because PewDiePie seems to think so. Yeah, it is. California is home of Hollywood, so it's because of that, they've made it very, very easy here to change your name. Actors do it all the time, and so I mean, you can just, that's basically what I am, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it's very simple, easy process, and so yeah, feel free to call me Jesus. Here's a good question. If it wasn't YouTube, what other career do you think you would be pursuing right now? Or rather, what was your career before YouTube? Well, I already answered the before. But honestly, there is no other job I'd rather be doing than this. This is truly the best thing I could possibly be doing. Interesting anecdote here. In the Mormon church, there is something called a patriarchal blessing. It's a special ordinance ceremony that happens where an ordained patriarch of the Mormon church, there's only one per kind of region area, so they're pretty rare, will give you a blessing, a once in a lifetime blessing. This only happens once in your life, where they'll put their hands on your head and give you a blessing and pronounce upon you a bunch of different things. One, they'll declare your lineage of like what tribe of Abraham are you from? Like, are you tribe from Judah, tribe of Manasseh, Ephraim, Benjamin, whatever. So they pronounce a blessing, and they also give you a sort of kind of like a fortune telling. Like they tell you a little bit about your future, give you a little bit of insight on what you can expect in your life. And sometimes these are like 2 or 3 pages long. I've heard of Mormons having like up to 8 pages of their blessing. Mine was 2 pages long. It wasn't too particularly long, but 2 interesting things happened, or two interesting things were revealed to me. Well, 3. Let's say 3 actually. Three interesting things were revealed to me in my patriarchal blessing. One, I am of the tribe of Ephraim. Okay. Two, that I would, if I can remember how it was worded, I should have pulled this out. I was told that through the use of fiber optics and networks, I would spread the word of Jesus Christ throughout the world. And something, I can't remember what it was. And that like really stuck with me growing up, because I received this blessing, I think, when I was like 14 or 15 years old. And so I always kind of had this idea that I was going to grow up and be like a network person, like I was going to work on computers and stuff like that. And I literally went that direction and just focused on computers. And I really don't like that, but I did it because I thought that's what I had to do. And that's what I put all my efforts into. And here I am spreading the name of Jesus Christ throughout the world, and I am doing it much faster than the Mormon church is, like on their YouTube channel at least. So that's good. Are you proud of me yet, Dad? That was my timer going off. So that's the first 30 minutes. So this is part 1 of Reddit AMA. Thank you for joining, and look out for the next part. Love you. Stay blessed, and always remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do.